And we are live, back with another live stream. And I think this is number 8, number 9. Already lost count. And it's been a long day. Work. I ran 5 miles today. And I was able to I've only done 60 pull-ups so far. So I still have at least 40 more pull-ups to do. And then probably even do a little bit more just so that I can catch up on my negative 1,700 pull-ups in the hole that I am for my 36,600 pull-ups for the year. And if you are joining the rewatch or the playback, today's live stream, the main topic of discussion will be how I got from fat to fit. And I wouldn't even necessarily say that I was like fat. I was just a little bit thick around the edges, as you can see from the picture below. How I got from the picture below on the left side to the right side. So when I started on the left side, I was about 165 pounds. This was after college, after I studied abroad, after a lot of California burritos, and just college life. And then the picture on the right is about 9 months after the picture on the left, roughly speaking. And that was also when I was blonde. So if you look closely, I'm also blonde. And it took me roughly 9 months to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. So that's what I'll be talking about today, how I got from fat to fit and my tips and tricks. And also, just a little bit of background. I was a personal trainer. I was a personal trainer for about 2 years, though I decided not to renew my license just because I was going in a different direction in terms of my career. Though I still have the knowledge and still use the knowledge of everything that I learned every single day, because I exercise every single day, and I had a certification, the CPT, Certified Personal Trainer certification from NASM. But again, I decided not to renew it just because I was going in a different direction for my career. I had already taken enough CEUs, but I also didn't want to pay the renewal fee. So that's why I decided not to renew. And so that will be the main topic of discussion for today. And then following that, I have a couple questions that I want to answer. So there's 3 questions I want to answer, and that'll be the live stream for today. So it'll be a good time. So I'll wait a couple more minutes and for people to come in. And it has been a whirlwind with not necessarily the weather, but the smoke. So there's been fires left and right. For a few weeks I wasn't able to run, and then there were like 7 days I ran every day, and then there were fires back again. So the smoke came back, and then I wasn't able to run. But today I got out for a 5 miler. So just glad I'm able to get out there and run again, just because, my 100 miler was canceled, which I was supposed to run on October 31st of this year and this month technically, but it got canceled. So my motivation to get on a longer run than, 1 mile is really not really there. So usually on the weekends I'll run, my long runs, but then last weekend I knew my race was canceled and I was, I don't really want to run. Plus I went back home to see my parents too. So hopefully I'll be, this coming weekend, I'm planning on a long run, but we'll see, at least a medium run, anywhere from 5 to 8 miles, but we'll see. And the game plan moving forward is to run my 50 in November and then my 100 miler in December, both self-supported. So it'll be a good time. What's up, Drew? What's up, Jade? Hey, Jen. Hey, hi. Extremely impressive fitness journey. What's up, Vince? Haven't checked out in a while. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Jade. I hope training is going well for you in your area. I still haven't gone back to training yet. Training jiu-jitsu, by the way. So hopefully I'll be going back sometime next week. The game plan is to go back with a small group, and I'm actually going to go get a COVID test on Friday, and then once everything clears, hopefully everything is good to go, then I will start training with the small group, because the small group, everyone has gotten tested as well, so they are super cautious as well because they see, sick people or old people frequently, and for me, the same. So I thought I would start training with a small group before I go back into the large group. So it'll be a good time. I'm super excited to train again, and I feel like, it's been 6 months since I've trained, 7 months now since I've trained jiu-jitsu, and I think about it all the time of like the moves in my head, but that's just me thinking about the theory of like, okay, what would I do here? What would I do here? But I'm just excited to go back. I'm definitely going to get smashed. Getting smashed won't be anything new because I'm usually the smallest guy in the room anyway, so I'm used to getting smashed and just playing defense. So, hey, Jess, how's it going? Good to see you. All right, wait a couple more minutes. I'll wait 2 more minutes before we get started. And again, if you are just joining, the topic of discussion for today is how I went from fat to fit, and also my tips and tricks of if I had to start over, what advice would I give? Or also, rather, I actually have this conversation pretty frequently in terms of my advice to other people. So I'm going to try to keep it the same in terms of the same advice that I would give to someone asking me, hey, what should I do? I want to get fit. So I'll kind of break down what my thoughts are. So, and just a little bit of background, I am by no means a doctor, so please consult your physician. Everything from my perspective is from an ex-personal trainer. So I am no longer a personal trainer, but I still do have the knowledge of personal training because it does carry over. And I just want to share what I have in my head, and it's not coming from a doctor perspective. So, consult your doctor for further information, if you with your exercise regimen, right? So I'm no longer licensed as a personal trainer, so take everything for what it's worth, but I am an avid power lifter, and I'm also an avid ultra runner. I practice jiu-jitsu. I'm only a blue belt, but also I'm also a pull-upper, if that's even a word. I do a lot of pull-ups. So take my advice for what it is. But just to give you all a frame of reference for those of you just joining, the picture on the left, on the bottom of my screen, is what I looked like before I got fit. And the picture on the right is what I looked like after I got fit. So the picture on the left and the right, they're pretty much 9 months or so apart. The picture on the right was the first time I got fit. So I've had cycles of bulking, cutting. So I put on a little bit of muscle, probably not that much to be honest with you. So that was the first time I got fit because I'm no longer blonde, and my physique no longer looks like that. My physique has kind of mellowed out. I'm not that lean right now. I'm still leanish. I think I'm about 9 to 10% body fat right now, but the picture that you see, I'm definitely a little bit lower. So I'm excited to talk about this topic today because I actually get a lot of questions on this. So, and then after I talk about the topic, I will go into the questions that I have. So, what's up, Kevin? How's it going? Got to start practicing twisters when you are on the couch with your girls saying practice. Yeah, it'd be cool if I could pull off a twister. I haven't learned a twister yet. I feel like that was always kind of outside of I'm just going to focus on the basics of, okay, I should probably learn how to do an arm bar and a triangle before I learn how to do a twister. But I've almost been caught in twisters. But usually it's the brown or black belts that want to play around, and it's been a close call a few times. So training is going well. Small group is the way to go. Not only is it safer, you'll also learn each other's games really well and also develop new strategies and techniques. Totally agree, Jade. Hey, Aaron, how's it going? Smart, always to give a disclaimer. Excited to check out this topic. I can offer some great insight as well. Yeah, and then if anyone has any further questions, because for me, so if anyone has any further questions, Aaron is also he was actually previously a celebrity trainer, but this is what he does for his day job. He is a book of knowledge when it comes to fitness and anytime that I have fitness questions, he's actually one of the first resources that I turn to because he knows a ton. So if you have any additional fitness questions, hit up FitLab, aka Aaron. All right, excited to check out this topic. Starting is the hardest part. Best advice is never a bad time to start unless the answer is always tomorrow. Just have fun and good event. Totally agree. Hey, Chris, how is it going, my friend? And speaking of getting fit, Mr. Christopher Grajo is fit. And he was one of my college friends, reached out to me a few months ago. It's probably been more than a few months ago. And I had the same conversation that I'm about to have with you all with him, just my tips and tricks, but then he took it even further. Like, he is going to be competing in a bodybuilding competition soon, a physique, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but this guy is super fit. So with that being said, let's get into this main topic of discussion. I'm going to close out my live chat. I'm just going to put it to the side, and then we'll talk about it. So, cool. So, for those of you just tuning in, the main topic, how I got from fat to fit, the picture on the left side is when I weighed 165 pounds, and the picture on the right side is when I weighed 130 pounds. The picture on the left side, to give you a little bit of background as well, at the time, I was actually, at both of these times, I was not a personal trainer. I became a personal trainer after the picture on the right. So it took me roughly 9 months to go from the left to the right. But all of this knowledge, or how I got from the left to the right, was through trial and error and also utilizing my resources. I had a fitness mentor. I have a fitness mentor. I still reach out to him for questions every now and then. And I asked him a bunch of questions. Okay, how do I get, from, what I am right now, because I want a six pack. So, and then he gave me advice, and then I went to the gym. At first it was 3 times a week, and 3 times a week was a struggle. But it got easier and easier, and then 3 came to 4, came to 5, and then came to 6, came to 7, and then now I'm going to the gym and or working out every single day. Nowadays, I take active rest days, so I'm not like I go hard every day of the week, but nowadays I listen to my body to make sure that I give it enough rest. Most days when I'll take a rest day like every 3 or 4 days, and it's usually like a mile jog or like a really, really light jog or like a mile to 3 mile jog. I'm not really pushing my body as much as I was before. So with that being said, if you are starting out newly in your fitness journey, the first thing that you have to realize is what are calories and how does physiologically, how does body fat work, how do calories function, how does that all play in with physical activity and the calories you burn. So what I usually like to start with is everyone, and it's different for everyone, is that you have a maintenance calorie. So a maintenance calories is, and right here as well, I have a sheet, so you can follow along with me. I'll be putting in numbers so that it makes a little bit more sense as well. So everyone has a maintenance calorie. So everyone, it's a little bit different. What goes into your maintenance calories are a few different factors, and one of the factors is your exercise, but also like just you being alive. So you being alive, you have to breathe, your organs have to function, your body is burning energy, and that's essentially what it is your body is constantly burning energy. And with that, plus exercise, plus, you burn a little bit of calories. I think it's around 5 or 10% from digesting food as well. So, all these factors added up gives you your maintenance calories, right? So maintenance calories. And let's say, for example, I will use myself as an example. My maintenance calories is roughly, I'm going to round up because it's definitely not this high, but it's roughly, let's say 3,000 calories. I'm just going to do that because it's easier than saying 2,700 or 2,800, but 3,000 calories. And so with that, I burn 3,000 calories with my exercise, with me being alive, with the food digestion, the thermic effect of food. That's what they call it. And so everything added up all together, I burn 3,000 calories per day, right? Burn 3,000 calories per day. And this is a rough estimate, with your burn 3,000 calories per day. It's some days you burn more, some days you burn less. Let's say today I went out on a 5-mile run. I burned 3,000 calories. But tomorrow, if I go on a 13-mile run, probably going to burn a little more calories, right? Because the more exercise that I give or the more exercise that I do, the more calories I'm going to burn. But let's just stick with the theory of maintenance calories. So your maintenance calories, let's say it's 3,000. Something that you have to realize for most people, and I say most people because it's not everyone. If you have some sort of ailment or something like that, this might not be relative to you, right? But for most people, I would say 90% or more of people, 3,500 calories, so 3,500 calories is roughly 1 pound of fat, right? So it's 1 pound of fat. So 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat. If you divide the 35,000 calories by 7 days, so let's say you divide this by 7 days, you get 500 calories. So with that being said, if my maintenance calories is 3,000 calories, if I want to lose 1 pound of fat, then I will have to be in a negative 500 calories per day for a week, right? So I would have to eat 2,500 calories for a week for 7 days with my maintenance calories to burn 1 pound of fat. And with the 1 pound of fat, it's not 100% fat. It's going to be a little bit of muscle. It depends. But for the sake of this video, I'll just keep it simple and just say 1 pound of fat, because when you lose fat, you also lose a little bit of muscle. And it depends where you are in your fitness journey, how long you've been lifting. Maybe if you're on steroids, the rules might not apply to you. But, for the sake of this argument or for the sake of this conversation, I'm just going to say 1 pound of fat. So with that being said, that's how you lose fat. Or that's how you cut, right? So when people say, "Oh, I want to bulk, I want to cut, I want to lose weight," I mean, there are differences and nuances in it. But in my experience, when people come to me as a trainer and they say, "Oh, I want to get strong, I want to bulk up, but I want to be lean," I'm like, that's not really how it works, right? Because in theory, in order for you to bulk up, you have to be in a caloric surplus. So the 3,500 calories, you have to eat more than that, because when you gain weight, you also gain a little bit of muscle. I'm sorry, I definitely skipped a lot in there. So going back to the burn 3,000 calories. So follow me here. 3,000 calories. In theory, now that we know that 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat, if you eat, let's say 3,001 calories, you're technically going to gain weight. If you eat 2,999, you're going to lose weight, right? But usually the numbers aren't, it's not that cut and dry. But for the theory of this, if you eat more than 3,000 calories and then you eat, if you eat 3,001 calories, you'll gain weight. Or for me in this example, if you eat 2,999 or less, you're going to lose weight. And with that being said, a calorie is just a form of energy, right? So when you go about your day, like me right here, I'm waving my arms, my body's burning energy, but where's that energy coming from? It's coming from your food. It's either coming from your food or your fat stores, right? So when you eat an excess of your maintenance calories, so in this case, let's say I eat 3,100 calories. That's 100 calories over my maintenance. Your body stores it as body fat. Oh, there, body fat, right? But then when you eat in a caloric deficit, so when I eat 2,900, which is 100 less than my maintenance calories, how I'm losing weight is, well, my body burns the food first, so it burns all 2,900 calories, or it burns 3,000 calories, but I only ate 29. So it burns off all the food first, but then where does that extra 100 calories come from? It comes from the fat. And that's how you lose weight, is because your body, when you're in a caloric deficit, will pull from your fat stores, and that's the energy that your body is using, and that's how you get lean. So when you hear people say calories in, calories out, that's what they mean. It's literally, you have to understand, you have your maintenance calories, and then your calories in versus calories out. So if you stay below your maintenance calories, you will lose weight. If you stay above your maintenance calories, you're going to gain weight. So with that being said, again, this is for most people. If you eat, let's say, oh, I just eat fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are fine. Like for me, I'm a vegetarian. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. But if you eat like 3,100 calories in fruits and vegetables and your maintenance is at 3,000, you're going to gain weight. But if you eat less, let's say like 5 Big Macs, but the calorie total is 2,900, that's lower than the 3,000 maintenance, so you're technically going to lose weight. So at the end of the day, when you eat all your food, it adds up to a certain number, right? So for me, I always advise, it's pros and cons of what you want to do. If you track your macros or your calories, you know exactly how many calories are going in and out of your body. If you know that, you can manipulate other factors to make sure that you are, whatever your goals are, whether that's bulking, whether that's cutting, whether that's losing weight, you'll be able to manipulate that factor, right? So, with that being said, people say, okay, it's calories and then macros. So what are macros? So macros are macronutrients. And when people say track your macros, it's an overarching thing of tracking your calories, it's not technically the same, but it's kind of interchangeable, right? From a fat loss perspective. Because again, it's all about the calories, right? So as long as you stay below your maintenance calories, you're going to lose weight. But everything you eat, like let's say these animal crackers right here, everything you eat has a number to it. So there's a calorie number to it. But calories are further broken down into protein, carbs, and fats. So protein, carb, fat. So you'll have your calories here, but then what makes up a calorie? Protein, carbs, and fats. So when you look at the back of a nutritional guide, it'll say the calories per serving, and then the fat per serving, the carbs, and then the protein. And with the protein, carbs, and fats, it adds up to the calories. That's how it works out, right? So just think of your macronutrients as subset of the calories. Though there are, with protein, carbs, and fats, it's from a fat loss perspective. If you just want to lose weight, let's say, you just have to count calories. But where counting macros is a little bit better is because technically if you're counting macros, you're counting your calories. With the definition of what calories and what macros are. There is a time and a place for protein, carbs, and fats. With protein, you have to make sure you get enough protein so that when you're losing weight, you are losing the most amount of fat, but keeping as much muscle as possible. So that can be aided by eating enough protein, but also your workout regimen, right? And then carbs come in, carbs for most people that are not on keto or anything like that, carbs are your body's preferred energy source. So your body is going to burn energy via carbs first. So as an example, if you eat a piece of steak, a steak has fats and protein, right? But if you eat these, or let's say you eat a piece of bread, because everyone wants to say bread is carbs. So carbs, your body's going to use the carbs first as energy because that's what your body prefers, right? So carbs are your main form of energy. So when people say, oh, I don't want to eat carbs, like carbs make me fat. No. Carbs don't make you fat. Being in a caloric surplus makes you fat. That's how you gain weight. You do not gain weight from eating carbs. But where the misconception is that when you say, I'm not going to eat carbs and I lost weight, or I didn't eat carbs and I lost weight. Well, if you throw out a whole food group or a whole macronutrient, you're like, I'm not going to eat any carbs. Like, obviously you're going to lose weight, because when you throw that out, you're eating less calories, so therefore it's going to make you in a caloric deficit. And same thing, and that same thing with protein. If you say, hey, I'm not going to eat any protein at all. If you don't eat any protein, then you're going to, well, you'll lose muscle way faster. But also, if you throw out one whole macronutrient, like that's a lot of calories that you're throwing out, right? And then fats are good. You know, good fats. It's what is that? Fats are good for transporting like other nutrients into your other parts of your body. So there is a time and a place for fats, but there are misconceptions that fats are bad, carbs are bad, or protein's the king. That's not necessarily the case, right? So with that being said, I know this was a long-winded answer, but when you lose weight, it's calories in versus calories out for most people. For those who don't have specific ailments, I can only speak from a former personal trainer's perspective, and as a person who has gone through this myself. You know, I can't speak to, okay, if someone has like PCOS or someone has some other ailments. This is not from that experience. This is from my experience and what the people that I've worked with in terms of clients, in terms of friends, of how they got fit, right? So once you understand how this works of calories in, calories out, maintenance calories, and then you'll start making better food choices. Now, going into food choices, the important thing, again, calories. That's how you lose weight. You have to make sure to get enough protein so that you can keep the amount of muscle. But with that being said, that's what it is. Now with that in mind, everything that you eat just needs to add up to that certain number to stay below your maintenance calories. Then you're going to lose weight. And all of this is from a external physical perspective, right? So my maintenance calories is 3,000. I can eat animal crackers all day. I can eat 2,900 calories of animal crackers. It's not the best for you, but I will lose weight. I can eat 2,900 calories of Big Macs, and I will still lose weight. I can eat 2,900 calories of whatever it is, ice cream, candy. I'm going to lose weight, and it's going to show on the external outside of my body. So over time, I'm going to lose weight. I'm gonna get shredded. I'm gonna get a six pack, right? But this does not take into account how you feel on the inside, because on the inside, what do we have? We have organs. We have your heart. We have your veins. If you eat 2,900 calories every single day of Big Macs and non-nutritious food, your insides, you're gonna regret it on your insides. So from a fat loss perspective, calories in versus calories out. But if you're talking from an overall health perspective, that's not necessarily the case, right? So take that for what it's worth. But at the end of the day, it's all a numbers game. So personally, for me, you know, with this in mind, with maintenance calories and your workout, you know, out of the, as far as a percentage of how much calories you burn per day, it's not that much. It's probably about 20 to 30. I think 30% is really high, but for the average person, it's about 20%. So, and that's your physical activity, right? So like for me, it's 600 calories. Even for me, that 600 calories is probably a little bit high. It's probably around 500 because I lift and then I run. Actually, that's probably right, like 600 calories. So, but the rest, I think it's like, and don't quote me on this, is because it's been a long time since I looked at that personal training book, but I believe it's 20% from your physical exercise, 10% from the thermic effect of food, and then the other 70% is just from you being alive. So like your brain has to work, your organs have to work. That's just you from being alive. And you know, with that being said, I say with that being said a lot too. So yeah. But with that in mind, you know, it's calories in versus calories out. I mean, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but that's all you have to understand. So when people try, this is my main point was with all of this diet talk, there's a realization of diet is, in my opinion, 95% of the battle. I'm comfortable saying that because even if you work out 7 hours a day, but you're still in a caloric surplus, you're not going to lose weight. You can work out however many times a day, however many hours a day. If you don't know what's going in and going out of your body, if you're not staying below that caloric maintenance, you're not going to get after your goals. So diet is 95% of the battle, but exercise, again, it's only 20%. That's supposed to aid in your fat loss, right? So that's supposed to aid in your whatever your goals is, whether that's bulking, cutting, maintenance, whatever it is, it's aiding in it. And in terms of what type of exercise that you should do, okay, let me finish the topic of diet. So with a diet plan, I personally, for me and for anyone that I know, I don't recommend crash diet. So crash diet to me is something that you do short term, right? So if, like, for me, I don't do keto because I can't do keto long term. I got to have my piece of cake, right? But what I recommend is more of if it fits your macros type of approach. So if it fits your macros, it's dual-sided, because if you don't do it right, then it can be bad as well. But from a fat loss perspective, if it fits your macros, it works because you're staying below your caloric maintenance. And basically what you need to do is just basically on your phone, just track your macros, track your calories, and then stay below that certain number. And then to find that number as well, there are calculators in which you can Google. You can use MyFitnessPal. Personally, I would choose MyFitnessPal. And with MyFitnessPal, it gives you a generic, it won't be exact, but it's a good reference point, right? So let's say for me, it says, I burned 4,000 calories, but, and then I track my food throughout the week, and then I'm like, whoa, I lost weight or I gained weight. So I know that 4,000 is off. So in actuality, it might be 3,000. The error, the margin of error won't be that large. It'll be like within a 100, 200 calories in my experience, right? But then you'll know, like, you can figure out your maintenance from there based off of your weekly activity and on a normal week. So I would personally use MyFitnessPal and then use that as a reference point. But again, it's only a reference point. It's not exactly, because there's no way it can be exact. There's just, everyone's different in terms of muscle mass, in terms of your age. There's a lot of factors that play into how many calories that you burn. So with that being said, I'll take a drink of water because I'm a little bit thirsty. So with that in mind, I always advise, if you're going to do it long term. So again, if it fits your macros, but I like, because you can do if it fits your macros, but fit in all animal crackers or fit in all Big Macs, right? But for me, in my personal opinion, adherence is one of the most important factors when it comes to a diet. So what adherence is how can you stick to your diet? Because if I say, hey, do keto works. You're in a caloric deficit, you're going to lose weight. But if you can't stick to keto, if you can't, it could be keto, it could be Atkins, it could be anything. It could be eat all bananas, only bananas, and you'll lose weight. In theory, yeah, you're going to lose weight. In theory, that's theory. But if you don't stick to it, then you're not going to lose the weight, right? And in my experience and the people that I've worked with, friends, family, clients, if you fit in foods that you love, so, like out of 100%, and the 100% you're in a caloric deficit, if you fit in 20 to 30% of food that you love, cake, ice cream, you're more likely to adhere or to stick to your diet in the long run. So as long as for me, it's why not fit in foods that I love? But I can't, with that, you can't fit in just all junk food, because I love junk food. But if you fit in all junk food, one, you'll be hungry throughout the day, because junk food, chips, they're not necessarily anti-calories, but you'll notice chips are high in calories, but after a while, you'll be hungry after, right? So it doesn't keep you satiated or full for long. So you got to be smart how you approach your diet. So you can fit in foods that you like, ice cream, cake, whatever it is, but the other, 70 to 80% should be real food that keeps you full. So vegetables are pretty much free game, because vegetables tend to have lower calories. Some fruit are high in calories. Berries tend to not be. So now you're mixing in different types of food. Okay, like vegetables, fruits, grains, protein, everything. And then so the goal is, for me at least, is to keep so I don't want to be hungry, even when I'm cutting. I don't want to be hungry. And so I have to fit in foods that are going to keep me full for long, while at the same time fitting in those fun foods that make me stick to my diet plan, right? And that's how a diet works, and that's how you lose weight. And again, you want to make sure that you're getting enough protein. So for protein, you want to get in. So according to NASM, it's half of your body weight in grams of protein. So for me, this is for an endurance athlete. So an endurance athlete is half of your body weight, and then a strength athlete is 0.8 grams of your body weight. So for me, if I weigh 130 pounds, I have to, the bare minimum that I get is 65 grams of protein. Most days it's a lot higher than that. Some people like to do 1 gram per pound. Some people like to do 1.5. Some people like to do up to 2. But for me, I don't go up to that 2 range. I'll stick to the 1, up to 1, but I really don't like going past that, because once I hit that protein, carbs tend to taste better. Cake tastes better than me eating a piece of vegetarian sausage, right? So that's why once I get to that 1 gram per body pound protein, I'll stick to that 1 gram, and I'll call it a day. And then a few other things that I want to touch up on in terms of diet as well. And as you notice, this conversation is heavy diet, because diet is 95% of the battle. People will say, well, keto, keto or intermittent fasting, or like, hey, like I do intermittent fasting. It's the best thing ever, and I'm losing weight, and this is the end all be all. No, I'm a huge fan of intermittent fasting. I'm a huge fan. I do it all the time, just because I'm so busy with work. It fits into my schedule. But you have to understand, you're losing weight, or you're losing weight from intermittent fasting, because when you intermittent fast, you're restricting your meal times, you're restricting your eating, and you're not eating, let's say, breakfast and the snacks that you would normally have. When you skip those meals, what are you doing? You're not eating those calories. So obviously, you're going to lose weight, because you're not eating those calories that you would normally eat. Same thing goes for keto. Same thing goes for Atkins. When you throw out one whole group of foods, or it could be anything, you are going to naturally lose weight, because you're not eating what you would normally eat, right? So with that being said, for me personally, I intermittent fast, but I'm also a vegetarian, but it fits your macros. But for me, I track all my macros. So it at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me, because I'll still lose weight because I track my macros. So when I hit a certain number, I just stop eating for the rest of the night, and that's it. And I think with tracking your macros, it's tracking your macros and tracking your calories, you will get the best results, in my opinion, because you know exactly what's going in, you know exactly what's going out. But it has its drawbacks. Number one, you could potentially, and this happened to me, develop a bad relationship with food. You'll start seeing everything as a number, and you won't want to eat certain things. Oh, that has sour cream? No, I don't want to eat it. That has cheese? No, I don't want to eat it. That has, I don't know what's in it. I don't want to eat it. Or that Big Mac is 800 calories. I don't want to eat it. That slice of Costco pizza is like 700, 800 calories. That's a lot. So you're not going to eat it. And then you start developing these bad relationships with food. And this just comes with the territory. So just know what you're getting yourself into. with, you know, tracking your macros. But with that being said, you're going to get the best results. Though, if I had to go back and knowing what I know now, I wouldn't necessarily start with tracking your macros first. It depends on your goal, right? So if you want to do a bodybuilding competition, tracking your macros, you're going to see the most success here. But if you're first starting off on your fitness journey and it's too much of a headache to track and you just want to be healthier and lose weight, then intuitive eating is good. Intuitive eating is just as it sounds, eating intuitively, and you just eat when you're hungry, and then you just make better food decisions. So instead of having that Big Mac, maybe you should have a salad, or maybe you should have a baked potato, right? So intuitive eating, I feel like it goes a long ways. Slowly cutting back on soda. Instead of soda, from a calorie and fat loss perspective, diet soda is better for you in terms of a calorie perspective. From the internal organs, probably not with the aspartame. I'm not a RD or a doctor, so I don't know. But the reason why I drink diet soda is because it has no calories. It tastes good and it has no calories. So from a fat loss perspective, it aids in my goal. But again, not from an internal organs type of perspective. And and with that, diet. So whatever way of eating that you decide to do, just know that diet is 95% of the battle. If you simply make better food decisions and decide not to track your macros, you're going to get pretty far. Once you get to that point of, okay, I'm stalling, or, I've kind of hit a plateau, then you got to, get a little bit more creative. Like maybe you want to start tracking macros, or maybe you got to up your cardio and everything like that, right? So, so that's the diet portion of it. In terms of the workout portion of it, I would say, depending on what your goal is, whether that's strength, whether that's fat loss. When most people come to me, it's purely fat loss. They want to look better. They want to look good on the beach. They want to have a six pack. They want to trim that what is it? Not mushroom, or like just the belly around the fat, right? That's their goal. And to do that, one, just be in a caloric deficit, but two, you want to make sure that your workout regimen aids in that as well. So lifting weights, like a powerlifting or bodybuilding style type of workouts where you're at the gym, you're pumping iron, you're pumping weights, that will help shape your muscles, right? So that when you do lose fat, you're maintaining and shaping your muscles. So maybe not shaping, but maintaining your muscles so that when you do lose that fat, the muscles will pop out and look good. Because if you're not in the gym, and this is where, like, people, like, let's say runners who don't lift, and you'll see them, hey, they have runner's arms, they have no, like, biceps. It's because they're not lifting, because cardio, like, burns a lot of calories and it burns the fat. But if you're not having enough stimulation for your muscles, your muscles aren't going to pop, or, it's not going to look good. In my opinion, I mean, to each their own. But that's why when you see runners, they tend to be a little bit skinnier, they tend to be a little bit scrawnier. Yes, they're really lean, they might have a six pack, but you don't typically see them being like all like buffed out, right? It's because of their training. It's because how they train. And I would say, if your goal is to look good, especially for the guys, if you want to look good, mix in a little bit of weight training and a little bit of cardio. Cardio is going to not only help you aid in losing fat, but also it'll help just with your cardiovascular system, so that your heart health and your organs are doing well. So if I had to, just for the sake of getting fit, and this is for the sake of getting fit as a normal person, of like, hey, I just want to get fit, not like I'm an ultra runner or I'm a power lifter or I'm a jiu-jitsu practitioner. I've always been a fan, and same thing with adherence. Do what you like. If jiu-jitsu is what you like and you hate weightlifting and cardio, do jiu-jitsu. Same thing with powerlifting, same thing with bodybuilding, same thing with running. But if you want to have a certain look on your body, or like you want your chesticles to pop out, you want your biceps to have like good arms. If you don't like doing bodybuilding style workouts, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's hard to get the shape of that if you're not doing like gym workouts. So choose something that you like, but just know that for most people, when they say, "Oh, I want to lose weight," or I want to bulk up, but I want to get stronger, but I want to lose, like I want to cut, like you can definitely. Okay, I'm sorry. I wanna look bigger. I wanna like bulk up, but I wanna lean down, which doesn't make any sense because you can't physically do both. In order for your muscles to grow, so your muscle is this big, right? In order for your muscles to grow, it needs food, because when you lose weight, when you lose fat, let's say for the sake of argument, when you lose weight, so let's say right now I weigh 135 pounds. I want to lose weight. I want to lose fat. If I eat enough protein, if I work out and I do cardio, I lose 1 pound of fat. That 1 pound of fat, it's not 100% fat. It might be 90% fat and 90% fat and 10% muscle, or 95% fat and 5% muscle. Whatever the ratio is dependent on 1, your diet, and 2, your exercise. So if I am doing everything correctly, and basically what you're doing when you are dieting down, losing weight, is you want to lose the most amount of fat with keeping as much muscle as possible. That's the goal. That's why you eat protein. That's why you're in the gym. That's why you're doing cardio, because the cardio will help you lose weight. But in the gym, workouts will help you keep the muscle that you have. But there's no way around it. When you lose fat, you lose muscle. That it's just the way it is. But with that being said, that does not necessarily mean that if you lose fat, you lose muscle, you lose strength. Strength and muscle, there is a correlation, but it's not. It's only a correlation. If you have bigger muscles, you'll be able to lift more weights, but just because if you're losing muscle does not mean you're going to lose strength necessarily. Depends on your style that you're training, but also a huge part of it is where you're at in your lifting career. For example, for most people that haven't been lifting, if they're not consistently going to the gym or anything like that, and they're just like brand new, yes, you can lose weight, you can lose fat, but you can also get stronger too, because your body isn't used to the stimulation of the weight. So if you're introducing that in new, you're going to get stronger and lose weight at the same time. It's going to happen. But for someone who has been training, let's say Aaron, for a long, long time, that might not be the case for him, because when he's cutting down and he's been training for years and years and years, he could be losing fat. But then for him to keep his strength might be a lot more difficult for him than for an absolute newbie, right? So there are those certain factors. So don't think that, I'm losing weight, but I'm gaining more muscle. That's technically not how it works, right? So if you're losing weight, you're losing a little bit of muscle, but if you're new, or like even for me nowadays, I can still lose weight and get stronger. It just depends how you train. So that's a whole new topic of training and your styles. Because for me, and I won't get into it, but like for me, I'm 135 pounds, but I'd like to think that I'm very, very, very strong for my size. And the reason why I'm not like fully jacked, I'm not huge, is because my training style is primarily strength. I don't really do any hypertrophy. I mean, I do every once in a while, but I don't really like it. I really more like to train that 3 to 5 rep range with like a 5x5 for my strength. So that's why when you see me, people were like, dang, he's really strong for his size. It's because of how I train. If I were to have trained more of hypertrophy, so like an 8 to 12 rep range, or even a little bit higher with proper 60 to 90 second rest, I would have been a little bit bigger. But because I didn't do that, that's why I'm not big, but I'm strong for my size. So a little bit of nuances in terms of training style as well. So, and kind of wrap this up, I think I've been talking about this for like 40 minutes, which is awesome because I can go on and on about this. So hopefully this all made sense. But, at the end of the day, you have to realize in order to get fit, you have to understand how your body reacts to calories. Calories in, calories out. How does your body store excess calories in the form of fat? And how does your body burn calories? How does your body burn calories? One, it's through your food, but then if you don't have enough food, then it takes from the fat stores, right? So having that understanding and knowing that your body burns, 70% of you just being alive, 20% from your exercise, and 10% from the thermic effect of food, you really want to put an emphasis on your diet. And your workout program, your workout regimen is only to aid in your fat loss or to aid in your goals, your fitness goals, whatever it is. And that's a whole new topic of, okay, how do I maintain the most amount of muscle or, like that, So, but with that being said, that's what I have to say on the topic. So hopefully it made sense. So again, diet, exercise will help aid in your, whether that's lifting, whether that's cardio, in your fitness goals. So, and now I'm going to close this out right here. Delete, display, delete that. Cool. And then I'll go through the questions right now and then just answer any questions that you all have. I could talk about this for days. I honestly love this topic just because I've went through it myself. And once you have a simple understanding of how calories work, how your body works in terms of just calories, right? Then it's very easy because for me as well, I come from a numbers. I've always been a little kind of good at math. So if you're good at math, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. So. Thanks for the super kind words. It's really important to understand calories. It's actually incredible how food is normally the biggest reason for not meeting your fitness goals. Yes, 100% agree. Basal metabolic rate. That's what it is. I knew. I was like, what is that? There's a word, but I just kept saying you being alive. So basal metabolic rate. Totally agree. Not all calories are equal. Yes. So something that I do want to point out that Aaron from FitLab said, and what's up? Malone Money Mindset, Anthony. Hello. Not all calories are equal, just like not all carbs, proteins, and fats are equal. Yes. So, with that, I only kind of touched on the calories in versus calories out. But it's how you pick your calories, right? Because some foods will keep you fuller for longer. If you take 500 calories in a Big Mac or 500 calories in a sweet potato or rice salad, you're going to get more bang for your buck. Right? Not only will the latter one with the sweet potato, with the rice, with the salad, not only will that keep you fuller for longer, but there are more micronutrients in there, which is good for your internal. And that's where, the importance of food comes in, like food selection, right? Because you can't just eat all Big Macs or all animal crackers, because if you do, you're going to be hungry and you're probably you're not going to get the nutrients that you need, your nutrients that your organs need, that your heart needs. So just, it's fitting in those foods. And that's why I'm a big fan of Fit Your Macros, because you can fit in foods that you like, but also you have to be smart about it in terms of fitting in fruits and vegetables, so that you can be satiated throughout the day. So yeah, so chemicals in food, yep. There's most frustrating. Sometimes you think you're eating healthy and you're not. And that's also another discussion as well, Jen and Jess, is that you have to be careful of organic and there's just what's in your food. So nowadays, whenever I look at it's actually a bad example because I'm using these animal crackers as an example. But usually when I look at a food, like the back of a package now, I'll look at the ingredients. And if there's too many ingredients, I'm good. So I usually, if there's when I'm going to get bread, if I'm looking at the two things of bread, I'm like, oh, like this one has a lot of ingredients. There's a lot of like chemicals or like names of stuff that I don't know. I'll put that down. I'll pick up the other one. I'm like, okay, this has less ingredients and there's stuff that I actually know, right? So and then I'll pick that, and that's a whole different topic of discussion. But definitely be careful with the food, the types of food, and make sure that you read the packaging of the food, because that can really, in the long run, that can really tear up your stuff on the inside. Again, I'm not an RD or anything, but this is just what makes sense in my head. If you choose too many things with too many chemicals, there's a reason why things aren't supposed to be like on the shelf for like 4 years, like Twinkies. I don't know if Twinkies are, but that's just something that just comes to my mind. So there's a fine line where you can build muscle while slowly losing fat. It's a very fine line to walk on and needs a very dialed in, balanced nutrition plan to follow, not on a diet plan. Yeah, I agree. Actually, yeah, I apologize. You can like build muscle and lose fat, but again, it's a very fine line. It's a very fine line. But for most people, I would just advise them to like either bulk or cut, and just from my experience. But that is true. I always forget to mention that, but I know that though. Like for me, I always just like generalize it, so it's kind of a bad thing for me. So yeah, I used to think I was on sugar free, and now I was low fat. That had no clue. I found that most people think they're eating properly, but actually have no idea what they're eating. Yeah, Danny Shred. I highly recommend using a digital food scale to learn. Yeah, exactly. I'm a huge fan of food scales. I still weigh everything. It's actually a good or bad habit. Like sometimes as you work through the process of tracking your food, you'll learn like you don't need to track every single thing. Like nowadays I don't track my salad. I don't track my carrots, right? But if it's like a baking, I'm gonna track it. If it's oil, I'm gonna track it. So yes, totally agree. They don't teach us in school. Yep. Keto is not a good thing, nor is it healthy or sustainable. Yeah. You'll lose weight on it, but it's not recommended by actual nutrition professionals. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, I never recommend keto unless your doctor recommends it. And then because I don't, everyone's a little bit different. If like, let's say they're like, okay, like if you eat keto, if you eat another carb, it's going to be really bad for you. Then keto might be the answer. But for most people, 99% of people, I'm not a fan of keto as well, because in the end, it's not sustainable. And I'm all about sustainability. So no diet plan works either, because it's not sustainable. You'll fall off the wagon. Yep, totally agree. Nobody should ever remove a macronutrient from their diet. Your organs, muscle. Yep, exactly. So your body needs macronutrients. Like there's a purpose for each macronutrient. There is. So even though carbs can be like, you think of it as the enemy, but it's not the enemy. It's your friend. Carbs are your friend because it's your body's preferred energy source. So you should do a video on nutrition. Totally agree. Totally agree, Vince. You are what you eat, and you feel like crap if you eat like. That's definitely the plan, Jen. Eating is a key to diet. Yeah, I totally agree, Tino. All right, working through these comments. The last few months, I've really been focused on my diet. Yep. Yes, Vince, totally agree with you. Some days you just like to eat cake and have chips, so you need a flexible dieting plan. Yeah, I'm all about the flexible dieting, just because it's, again, it's more sustainable. The whole concept of intermittent fasting is basically based on that you delay your intake of calories until the second half of the day, so it's essentially less time to eat and therefore less likely to eat as many calories, which is, yeah, I agree, Aaron. I think, with the, like, obviously if you're not eating for half of the day, like, you're gonna lose weight. But I've also heard people say, oh, like something about atrophy and muscle. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I haven't read that far into it, but from a fat loss perspective, calories in versus calories out works great for people. Yep. I love low carb diet. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's whatever that you can stick to the longest. If it works for you, everyone's a little bit different. You just have to find what works for you, and that might take a little bit of experimentation. But for me, it's, if it fits your macros, tends to be able to be a good balance between fat loss and all of my goals. So I want to find my six-pack I lost 20 years ago. Tino, if you're going at the rate that you're going, it's going to come sooner than you think, my friend. You just have to keep at it. Kevin, what's up, my man? All right. Goku Runner, good to see you. All right, hey everyone, what's up? Thanks, Steven, for stopping by. All right, hey Vince, brother, that's my cousin Vinny. Wow, I love that movie. Awesome. Did he say chesticles? Yes, I did say chesticles. It's a die for me. That's what's up, Tino. Wonder if I leave that in a toilet when I was. That's awesome. I'm more than 100 pounds than Vinny. Dude, Goku Runner, you're strong. You're strong AF. I would like to know your powerlifting numbers, because I know like you had either a deadlifting picture the other day, and you looked huge, like yoked up. How much did your gym home cost you? So my gym home actually is, so when we moved in here, my girlfriend's cousin used to live here, so he just left the gym set up. So I got all that for $100. So I gave him $100 for it, and it comes with, it has that power rack setup plus the bar plus 370, almost 400 pounds of weight, and it came with a bunch of extensions and stuff like that too. So definitely good bang for my buck. All right, so where are you currently in your progress, Tino? Boom, boom, boom. So basically 8 to 10 ingredients that you know. So Wonder Pet says, so basically 8 to 10 ingredients that you know is fine, 3 to 4 opposed to something getting with 13 plus, and you only know water or something silly. Yep. All right, great stream, Vinny. Thank you for coming. All right, so weight loss recommendations to track calorie or count. So weight loss recommendations is to track and calorie count. So Wonder Pet, I don't necessarily, it depends. So again, with weight loss, I would say there's 2 routes that I would recommend. With the tracking your calories and macros, you are going to get the most, the best results. You are like, just because you know exactly what's going into your body. But with that being said, there are drawbacks. So in my opinion, you might develop, it's a very high chance that you'll develop a bad relationship with food, because you'll start looking things as numbers, and then you won't want to eat certain things. And so in that sense, that might not be worth it. But, you know, with the results, you can't beat the results, because you know exactly what's going into your body. The second route that I would take would have to be, and this is actually, I'd probably recommend this knowing what I know now, because of the bad relationship with food that I still have today. I can't look at food the same, and I wish that I could, but I can't. I look at it as numbers, unfortunately. I would probably recommend intuitive eating. Intuitive eating is just making better food decisions. So I would say you can roughly track on like MyFitnessPal, so you can get a gauge for what you're getting into your body. So like, track for a week, but in the long run, I'll probably start with the intuitive eating first. But like making better food choices, as in understanding certain foods. So if you're a meat eater, like pork generally has more calories than chicken, than shrimp, than fish. So fish is a better alternative for your meat or for your protein source, if you're a meat eater or a fish eater, just because it's less calories overall, or it's going to keep you full for relatively like right around the same. Or if you're a steak eater, if you're going to eat steak, there's ribeye steak, and then there's flank steak, in your burritos and stuff. But flank steak is a lot less calories than ribeye steak. Or if you're just eating like a cut of steak, I would say New York steak versus ribeye steak. Yes, ribeye steak tastes the best, but it's because it has the most amount of calories and it has a lot of fats in it. Whereas New York steak is a little bit leaner, so you're going to save calories that way. So making better food decisions that way, but also it goes into other things as well. It goes into junk food. I firmly believe that if you just eat less processed foods, that's going to take you really far. Because what processed foods, with animal crackers, with chips, with everything like that, it's higher in calories, but it doesn't keep you full for longer. So, instead of having that bag of chips, maybe have an apple. Instead of having that piece of cake than have a homemade dessert that you can make. So less processed foods will get you really, really far. And I would also stay away from heavy sauces. Heavy sauces, ranch, barbecue. Like if you're anything like me, you like to dip your chicken nuggets, or when I was eating chicken nuggets, you like to heavily dip those things in sauces. But if you can avoid sauces, you're gonna save calories, because some sauces are okay, like mustard. Mustard doesn't have barely any calories, and it has five calories per serving. But if you're eating like ranch is the worst. It's one of the worst. It's heavy in calories. So if you avoid mayonnaise, all that. Also, if you can either bake your food, like oil doesn't disappear. When you cook with oil, it seeps into your food, and I believe 1 tablespoon of oil is 120 calories. That's a lot of calories. So nowadays when I cook, pan everything, bake everything. So just making better food decisions that way, and then also coming from a better food decisions perspective, I would say liquid calories as well are the worst, because not the worst, but obviously they taste good because it's liquid calories, and I love soda, and the occasional beer when I was drinking, very good. But liquid calories, they tend to be they're high in calories, but they don't keep you full for long. And then that gets into another discussion of alcohol, right? With alcohol, it's literally empty calories. It doesn't keep you full for long. Your body, you're just drinking all those calories. And then it makes you hungrier even at the night. So after a night of drinking, I have to have a burrito. I just have to. But if I had 5 drinks, that's 5 beers, that's 600, 700 calories, plus all that food. So if you can avoid the calories in your liquids, even better. And this doesn't even just mean alcohol. This also means soda. This also means juices. I personally, if I was trying to lose weight, I would not eat, or I would not drink my calories. With the caveat of, if you're tracking your macros, if you drink your protein shake, you're fine. If you're tracking macros, actually in general, you can fit in those sodas as well, because you're tracking your macros. Yeah. So boom. Read ups in the chat comments to see what you discussed before. I think you'll find it helpful. Jonathan, hey, good to see you, man. Have a good one. I only managed to get a short while, but sharing stream. What's up, Coach Kev? Or Vinny, how'd it go? Tino, thanks for coming. All right, cool. Why you want to talk about protein when I'm leaving? Beef sounds great right now. Dude, I haven't eaten beef in a year and a half, so I don't even know what it tastes like. But steak, I love steak. I still even crave it from time to time, but it's not as bad. And I think if I eat meat now, it'll actually give me a stomach ache. So that's my biggest reason why I'm avoiding meat. So Wonder Pet also asks, as far as workout recommendations, from couch potato to walking or lifting more than walking. I would say from a couch potato, whatever that you're doing, whatever that you're doing now, whatever you do more than that, you're going to lose weight or aid in your fat loss or aid in your fitness journey. So I've always been a fan of mixing it up. So finding an activity that you like. So if you like hiking, hike 4 to 5 days a week. If you like jogging, jog 4 to 5 days a week. Now just understand that, with each form of exercise, there are pros, there's benefits and drawbacks, I guess. And drawbacks in terms of I don't like doing that, then it could be a drawback. Like if you hate running, but you want to improve your cardiovascular system and your heart health, then cardio could, it's good for you, right? Running could be good for you. But if you like to do jujitsu, find something that you like. But for me, usually what's easier or what people have access to is a gym and or cardio. I would say with a gym, mix in the weights. If you're going, it depends also on your just where you're at in your fitness journey. If you don't know how to work out with weights, I think it's valuable to work with a personal trainer. And in terms of your personal trainer, they should be educating you and not telling you what to do. They should be telling you how to do it. So the goal for me and my theory on personal trainers, when I was a trainer, is that your trainer should be like a teacher or a mentor for you, so that you don't need a trainer after like a year or 6 months to a year. Now, you can go back to them for other things, maybe some more advanced things, but they should be able to teach you how to deadlift, how to squat, how to lift in general. So mixing in the weights, but then a little bit of cardio. I would say if you're coming from a complete couch potato, like working out 0 days a week, start off working out with 2 days a week or 1. And then slowly build up to that. I wouldn't advise going from couch potato working out 0 days a week to working out 7 days a week. You're probably not gonna, get very far. You might be able to do it the first week, but again, it's adherence and making sure that you stick to it to the long run. So I would say if you're working out 0 days a week, go to working out 2 to 3. 2 to 3 for a week, and then when that's comfortable, then you can up the amount. But if you're already working out, let's say two days a week, then bump it up to 3, bump it up to 4. Anything that you can do, and it depends on your goals, but if your goal is to lose weight, I would say, go on walks frequently. I used to, even when I wasn't losing weight, just to get in my activity when I worked for an office, on my 1 hour lunch breaks, I would just go on a walk every single day, no matter if I'm bulking, cutting, just so that I can get in my steps, so that it's good for my cardiovascular system, and then mixing in the weights, and then mixing in some cardio sessions as well. And I would say with cardio and weights, start slow. There's no reason why you need to be running 10 miles the first time. Walk for 30 minutes. And then keep with the 30 minutes. But then now you can walk. You can run for 2 minutes, walk for 8, and then do that for 30 minutes. And then once you graduate from that, then you can go 5 and 5. Run for 5, walk for 5, and then run for 6, walk for 4, and then once you build up to running 30 minutes straight, then you can work up to 45 minutes straight, and then you can kind of strategically plan how to do it from that. It's all up to you. I mean, I would say, again, where you're at in your fitness journey, if that means working with a trainer or, working with an online trainer, whatever it is, or just make sure to get out there and find an activity that you like. But if you have any additional questions, be more than happy to help. Just comment below. If this stream ends, just comment below. I'll be more than happy to help and give you a program, or like my advice again. I can work out a program for you if you'd like, or Aaron would be more than happy to help, too, just to get you started. All right, so Hi asked, was your diet during those 9 months the same foods, or did you track everything you ate? So for me, my diet was I go in waves. So number one, I did track everything that I eat. So that was a common factor. So for me, I just stayed below my number. I think when I was cutting, I was cutting about 2,000 calories. And I never went below 2,000 calories. I personally don't like going below 2,000 calories. Now you can go below 2,000 calories if you want. For me, I just added more cardio. So in order to burn more calories, I just added more cardio, but I never stayed below 2,000 calories. And then I switched up all the foods that I like. So I had a burrito phase. So when I first started that fitness journey, I had this big eating out phase, but when I eat out, I would just customize my food. So I would go to this burrito place, and then I would just order. I'd be like, hey, can I get a burrito with just carne asada? Back when I was eating meat, carne asada, pico de gallo, guac, and lettuce. That's it. So I'd skip out on the sour cream, I'd skip out on the cheese, but I would have those other things. But I would put that all into my MyFitnessPal, and I ate that like 5 days a week, seriously 5 days a week. So that was a phase that I had. And another phase that I had was Vietnamese food. So I had a Vietnamese food where I would just get a vermicelli with chicken and the sauce that they give. So it's just rice noodles and chicken. And then I just ate that for like 4 months. And I ate that for dinner every 4 months. for 4 months, and then Subway as well. So you can customize meals. So the thing is about when you track your food is that you'll start to tend to eat the same things over and over because you don't want to, because you can eat different things if you want. But for me, it's just way easier. It's like, okay, if I order like a Subway sandwich, I know it's going to be 560 calories pretty much every single day because I order it every single day. Or if I order it 4 days a week, it's going to be the same calories because you're going to make it generally the same. Same thing. I had a Chipotle phase. I had the burrito phase and the Chipotle phase were different, but I had that phase. But you'll tend to want to eat foods that are like just more bang for your buck type of foods. And then at the same time, I was like, I wasn't cooking at home yet. So, but nowadays I prefer to cook at home because I know exactly what's going in and I don't really want to pay. I don't really want to pay for my just like food because it's like, because I can just make it myself and I'll just be full. So nowadays I'll cook everything at home. So it depends if you eat out or if you cook at home. So at the end of the day, it's tracking your calories, but also I was eating the same foods because I also enjoy. Also, eat foods you like. Don't eat foods you don't like. If someone says an avocado is good for you, I mean, it's not good for, I don't like it. So I mean, I like avocado, but if you don't like avocado, don't eat it. Oh, if you don't like spinach, don't eat it. Eat something else. Like there are a bunch of other vegetables that you can eat. Like don't eat something that you don't like. I'm not a fan of that. So, all right. Moving on. Pet workout recommendations are highly individualistic. They depend on you and your current situation, goals, and ability. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So I can only kind of give like a general perspective right now, just because I don't know exactly what your like fitness goals are, or what you want to do and your current lifestyle. So I think it would be beneficial, if you were to either do more research on your own and or just work with a professional. It's actually really helpful. Even just to get you started, you don't have to, you can just say, I just want to work with you for like 4 weeks. I just want you to put me on a plan. And I just want to know where to get started. Or there's a bunch of free resources. Me as well. I can definitely help you with that. Don't mind helping you with that. So cool. Hey, Vince. Hey, Robbie. I ate one meal a day, but it lasts 12 hours. Yeah, I ate one meal a day, but it lasts 12 hours. That's awesome. I'll comment by email. Also, first video I saw of yours was about 5 years ago in Japan, and everything you ate. Whoa, Wonder Pet, you are a long-term subscriber. So I made that everything I ate in Japan video a long time ago. That's so awesome. I forgot about that video, to be honest. Yeah, Mira, what's up? All right, so I'm caught up on comments now. So I have a few more minutes, and I just want to answer a couple questions that I had. Just so that, I answer them because I promised y'all that I would. Boom. All right, and then once I answer the questions, I'll check back up on the live stream, and then we'll call it a day. This has been a long one. I feel like it went by so fast, 1 hour and 17 minutes. And also, if you can do me a favor and like this, I forgot to mention to like it, but if you can do me a favor and like the video, it would really, really help me out. All right. Okay. All right. Oh, I put the questions up. All right. First question. Oh, that's not it. From Lifting IQ, have you found any prospects for potential races? So my 50 miler that was canceled. I was supposed to be on October 31st. I haven't found any potential races. Unfortunately, I try to look them up, but they're all for next year. I think it's out of the question now in terms of California. And I don't really want to be traveling. Oh, let me plug in, my battery's dying. So I haven't found any. They're just a little bit further, and I don't really want to like pay for like a flight with everything going on as well. So I think it's going to come down to me doing the 50 miler and the 100 miler self-supported. Great news is that like now I can actually officially train a little bit more because I wasn't able to train due to the Northern California fires. But now like I just have to put it on a date because even Like now that my 100 miles canceled, I just don't have a lot of motivation. To be honest, I'm like, like I have to go run. Like before when I had that race, I was like, all right, like 20 miles, no problem. But now it's like, like 7 miles, it's rough. But so I'll probably be running the 50 miler in November and then the 100 miler in December. So I'll probably put it down on the calendar sometime soon. So no, I have not. Next question. All right, from Achilles Financial. Said, sorry to hear, Vince. With running 2 ultras by the end of the year, what are you planning to do from a recovery perspective? A 50 miler and a 100 miler aren't exactly easy on the body. So, from my experience, actually, I'm not saying this to be like, I'm super fit or anything, but I'm in pretty good shape to where, one, I know my body pretty well, but the first time that I ran my 50 and the first time that I ran my 100 miler, I was fine. Like I was fine. I recovered both within 4 days. The 50 miler I recovered within 48 to 72 hours. And with the 100 miler, I recovered fully within 72 to 96 hours. So it really wasn't that bad for me. Also, as well, when I'm running these 50 and 100 milers, yes, I'm going like I'm going like as hard as I can, but I'm not like dying the whole time, right? So, unlike if you're like a Zach Bitter, you're like running the whole entire time, where you're really redlining the whole entire time. I'm not doing that. So for me, it's just like a finishing type of thing. So I'm like walk, one, and then until I'm finished. So. I don't think the recovery, for me personally, it's not that bad. And I think I'll be fully recovered within, and honestly, if I can recover from the 50, then I'll be able to do the 100. Because even if I do the 100 on December, the last week of December, like I just need to get it in, right? So, I think with the recovery, it's not going to be that bad, to be honest. And then I've also had, since my last 50 and 100, I've had a lot of good training blocks. My run 10 miles a day for 30 days, and also my calendar club challenge. So those I feel like are really going to save me. Especially my calendar club challenge. It'll probably push me to make it a lot easier. So I probably won't have to waddle. And I'm really shooting for that sub 24 hours in terms of my 100 miler. I think that's a little bit lofty. It might be just on the brink of reach right now. But hopefully with, 2.5 more months of training, I'll be able to hit that. So, all right. Last question of the day, Oggiesilverfitness. He asked, when will you get your black belt, Vince? So with jiu-jitsu, it's not, and so with, I'm going to just obviously I only do jiu-jitsu. So, with jiu-jitsu, it's really hard to tell of when you're going to get a black belt or even the next belt. For me, I'm not worried about the belt levels, and I'll get there when I get there, because with jiu-jitsu, it's not one of those things to where you necessarily want to be at that next level, because you're live sparring pretty much every single day. So let's say I move up to a purple belt, because it goes white, blue, purple, brown, black. If I move up to a purple belt, but then other blue belts are smashing me, like that, it's not really supposed to how it works, because you're live sparring, so the mats don't lie. So when I'm ready to get there, I'll get there, and I definitely don't want to rush it too early. Though this is a hard question to answer, because I don't know with this whole shelter in place thing how long it's going to last, or when it does come back, how long, like what's it going to be like. Is everyone going to be like free training? Am I going to go back to normal? Am I going to go back to 5 days a week? But I would say if everything goes back to normal where it was before, I was going 5 days a week, at least 5 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week with 1 to 2 private sessions a week. If I were to go back, I would roughly get to black belt. It's every 2 years, I would say, on average. So on average, it takes 10 years to get your black belt from white belt to black belt. So 2 years. It took me a year and a half to get my blue belt. But I haven't been training since I got my blue belt. I trained for like a couple months, but then COVID happened. So I think that if I were to go back, it'd probably take me right around 2 years to get to my purple belt. And then from 2 years from that, it would, brown. And then 2 years from that would be black, if I keep up with everything. So from today, I would probably say another 6 years, 6 to 8 years, which I don't really mind. And that's what it is to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So yeah, so cool. And that is all my questions that I have. I only brought 3 because I figured this would be a long topic. And actually, let me go back to, I think I accidentally closed out of my live stream. So maybe all of that was for naught. Oh, that's awkward. So I accidentally clicked back on my live stream or on my YouTube. On what am I trying to say? On my YouTube like screen on my Chrome. So I clicked back on accident. So yeah, the stream is still going. So cool. Perfect. So okay, cool. Perfect. Happy to talk with you anytime. This is what I do for a long time professionally at the highest level. Yeah, Wonder Pet, if you have any questions, I would honestly reach out to Aaron from FitLab first. He is an amazing resource and definitely one of the first people that I would personally reach out to first. So cool. Well, I appreciate everyone for coming. This was a really fun topic for me personally. Hopefully it all made sense. If you have any additional questions, just let me know down below. We'd be more than happy to help with anything. So with that being said, have a great rest of your night, everyone. Thanks for coming. And if you can do me a favor and like the stream, I would greatly appreciate it. All right. Peace to you all. See you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.